Many times we are asked the question through the discussion process prior to someone hiring us, and definitely after the fact, whether a certain DUI stop, the police officer following our client, and the performing of the field sobriety tests, we're asked whether that was recorded or whether it is on video. And the answer to that question is it depends on many different things. It depends on the location of the arrest. It depends on the vehicle that the officer was driving. It depends on whether the evidence has been preserved, whether the arrest and the stop and the tests have been recorded over already. And it's a very good question. There are certain states, South Carolina being one of them, where any DUI arrest and the performance of field sobriety tests and such must be recorded on video. Alabama does not have that requirement, but many times the arrest and the stop are recorded on video, so it's important for us to request those things as we move through the process of litigating your DUI. Videos can be a double-edged sword. If a video is perfect for a defendant, then obviously that will help. If a video is 50-50 and there are some signs of impairment, but there are also some signs of the lack of impairment, that can and should help the defendant, and in many cases, it of course will help. If the video tends to show that the defendant is impaired, then depending on the posture of the case at that point, or depending on whether the case will have to be tried, it may or may not help the defendant. If a case is going to be settled and not tried, and by settled I mean the offer has been made for a non-DUI disposition, and the client, the defendant, has made the decision to accept the offer rather than push forward through the discovery process and ultimately a trial, then a video is not as important as a situation where a defendant is adamant about a trial, or that is the only option available. If a client of ours wants a trial, or if trial is the only option, if the case cannot be settled in a way that is acceptable to our client, then video evidence becomes much more important. And the reason for that is we will take the video and analyze every stage of the video that we receive. Many times the video camera in the police vehicle will go back to a certain point, usually several seconds prior to activating the emergency lights or the siren, and that usually is probably 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and that enables us to see some driving a lot of times, and then we get hopefully the audio and the video of the stop, the actual stop of the client, of the defendant, and then ultimately the personal contact phase, as well as the pre-arrest screening phase, which includes the test. Every minute, every second of the video is important, because not only will it show items that our client did correctly, but it's the best way to bring a judge or a jury back to the scene of the arrest so that they can understand exactly what the defendant, our client, was going through at the time and what they were subjected to. It's very important, if the case is going to have to be tried, that if this evidence is available, that we do everything within our power to obtain the evidence and review it. There are many times this evidence obviously benefits the prosecution, but even if someone is very impaired or has a high breath test result, for instance, what if there was an accident? What if someone had hit their head and the video is running and the person is not impaired but rather is suffering from a head injury? Then the medical records along with the video would definitely be beneficial in going through the stages of the case and litigating the case and attempting to show the prosecution prior to trial or a judge or jury at trial exactly what was occurring out there on the side of the road whenever the officer was out there. In addition, the video also benefits us because that is the only way that we can see exactly what happened as far as the field sobriety tests go, as far as the instruction phases of all the tests, and also the scoring phase as well. It's very important to have this in a field sobriety test case because we are able to analyze and ultimately can send to an expert and hire an expert to come testify at trial if the field sobriety tests were not performed in the standardized manner. My name's Joseph Kreps. I'm a DUI defense attorney in Alabama. If you've been charged with DUI in Alabama, you need an attorney working on your case who is a member of the National College for DUI Defense, who is certified to administer field sobriety tests, the same test that you were subjected to on the side of the road. We can help you. All you have to do to begin the conversation with us is call our office at 866-348-2889. Thank you very much.